Alrighty. Thank you everybody for showing up to this Legal Shield and Fieldnotes webinar that we do. This is Monday, the 24th of April. So thank you for everybody for showing up. Today, we've got, obviously I'm going to help anybody with any issues that you may have. So if you're thinking about stuff, definitely get it ready. One of our colleagues here, Mr. Rick Allen, has sent us some, I guess it's showing up as a template, but it can be created as a action plan. So what I wanted to do is just go through that exercise, see if anybody has any questions, how to take something from the templates, turn it into an action plan. I think I've done this before, but just going to walk through it because Rick has given us a 1 through 5, and I have placed it. Oh, I'm not even showing anybody anything. Let's show some people some stuff. All right, so we're in our test environment, and in the library you will find a category that is networking, and our good friend here, Rick Allen, had shared some material with us. And so, Rick, can you hear me?
I can.
Nice, nice. So, would you like to give some insight as to what you've created and how you intend on using it? I had to kind of clean up some stuff. There was some things that I just left there for, obviously for visual reasons, such as terrific meeting with you. I didn't want to kill your video, like your picture of it, but did want to, if you could maybe kind of just go through your experience at the same time, and there'll be a bunch of talking points to how you kind of created this, what the reason for it is, for how you're going to use it.
Sure, absolutely. So, and you're all more than welcome to leave my video and my contact information to anybody that you...
Sure.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
If you ask nicely, there's no harm in, you know what I mean? Like if you just, hey, by the way,
yeah,
you know what
it's okay.
exactly. I like the approach.
Yeah. The idea is here, I do a lot of face-to-face networking. I meet a lot of people. I come home with a lot of business cards. And I wanted a way to not come home with an administrative job.
Correct.
So between creating QR codes that go to a contact page and allow me to electronically exchange information, and because of the forms that we have built in to Fieldnotes, or the form capability that actually plugs all of the client's information or the prospect's information into Fieldnotes in a specific way, it gives me the ability to, when I come home from a networking meeting now, I'm either done or at least almost done. The last thing I might have is somebody who doesn't exchange cards with me electronically. They give me a physical card. I have to snap a picture of it and send it in through Sparky, tell them what to do with it. So the end result of that is they get added into an automatic grip campaign or action plan that includes, right now, in this case, 5 different steps that are nothing but getting to know you kinds of emails. I'm not hot on their tail to buy Legal Shield. I am not doing anything other than getting to know them, sharing some information about myself, suggesting that we connect with LinkedIn, maybe have a discovery Zoom, and just get to know one another. So all 5 messages are geared to that. And so that's what it's all about. You know, you can just delete the video if you ever want to use this altogether, or you can create your own video. right now, Keith and I are working on a thing where we're actually going to be doing this for some people, just get them jump started on Fieldnotes. And so that's what these are all about.
So give me some insight as to, I don't know, how much work involved was it for you to kind of put this together? Was it difficult
Well,
with,
yeah.
I see that you're framing it, right? You're putting it in a table to kind of just fix the email. I think it looks like it's pushed to the left. If I'm not correct, I can actually verify that here. Yep, you aligned it to the left.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some cell padding, so the cell padding kind of gives you some good cushion
Yeah.
around and gives some space in between, so everything isn't so crunched
Yeah.
together. So
White space. Yep.
yeah,
Definitely.
so that, and that's
Makes
good.
it readable.
Readable, and almost on any device it's going to show up looking nice, which if it wasn't in the table, because of the formatting, it could go from side to side. It
Mm-hmm.
has the chance of looking ugly. But
Yeah.
I just, like with creating these little hyperlinks, was everything relatively easy to put together and end up with this result? Was it a lot of time? I'm just wondering.
No, it was not a lot. Everything together, yeah, it was, a significant amount of time. But as far as once I had the different pieces and parts, putting it together into the email was a piece of cake. So, um, you know, because my background is technology, I've been doing stuff kind of like this for years. I was an English major, so communicating and a speech
Communication is key.
major. So
Nice.
so yeah, communication and all of that stuff was what I do. I hate getting emails where everything is in one big ball,
Mhm.
and you can't read it, and or if you do read it, you miss the important points. So that's kind of what I was shooting for here. And adding the video to it was just putting that face back in there besides just the picture,
Yes,
and letting them hear my voice, because
it's a good intention.
familiarity is absolute key when
Yes.
it comes to getting someone to the point where they trust you, a complete stranger, to the point where, oh yes, I would do business with you.
Hmm.
And so that's what I was driving at in this. And so, you know, doing the video, got some tools for doing videos, so I do some of that stuff anyway.
Nice.
Um, and so yeah, once you've got the tools and know how to use them, Fieldnotes was a very, very good avenue to take this to this level. So
So why I asked that question is, for the amount of time that you invested, do you think it's going to be worth it? Because me looking at this is exactly what you guys got to build for yourselves. Everybody
mhm.
needs to have something like this, because this can be shoot it out. You can start it on a person from meeting them. Now, if you're using the forms like you're using them, you can actually make it automatic. So as the people sign up, it's submitted, it's triggering immediately. And that's something that's huge. That's the speed to the lead kind of thing. It's the first impression, especially when you come off with a nice, well-produced email, such it, that also uses video. So you're touching so many points, right? So many pressure points that this person cannot forget you, right? And essentially that's what you want, is you want that impression that lasts for weeks, so that you have the time to kind of, either let life hit them and come to you with their problems, or um, when that moment happens for them that they really need to kind of loop you in, you're the first person in their mind that they're thinking. They're not even second guessing nothing. They go right to the email. The only thing that I can see here is this is all emails, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I like to do is kind of create a version that is this, but text message form, that does the same thing just a quick little note. Hey, I sent you an email. By the way, here's the information as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just a thoughtful extra little piece, because if somebody doesn't have time to go to their email, the text message has those links to where all you have to do is press them, kind of get into them. Now, my question is, when I didn't see your video, did you caption the video?
I did not caption the video. I mean, it literally is the same information as the uh, email message. So it's just me verbalizing it.
One thing I
So
like
actually,
about
yeah.
that's nice. Um, so what I like, just to busy up. Oh, you've got is that your caption up at the top?
Oh, that it must be. It must have been added automatically.
There you go. No, no. Well, if that could be dropped down right below where your chest, it'll kind of fill up some space. Or if not,
Hmm.
maybe drop in the virtual selling logo. Any logos you can drop into the corners up at the top, really kind of give that produced kind of look to it. I
Hmm.
like caption, because if somebody gets this on their phone in the doctor's office, it's not going to scream. What it's going to do is just run caption, so they could quietly read along. But
Hmm.
if it's screaming, voice and everything like that, well, then what they'll do is they'll just most likely, turn off the app, right? So
Hmm.
this allows you to still kind of get to them. They can read, they can follow any links. Um, I'm not sure how to put the links into, but you can have that into your 30-fold, kind of build up. So if they go to your website to see more of your material, well, your YouTube channel, then they'll just get, inundated
Hmm.
with all your cool little things. So definitely this is going to point people to your, this is the funnel. This is the funnel that you're creating, right?
Yep.
So having landing pages, having your own site, or just connecting everything to you, like your Calendly link, how people can get in. This is everything in a nutshell. So I really like what you're doing, just because I feel everybody can benefit from this kind of stuff. And then, so like with the little bit of time that you've been, invested with this, I'm just curious to see what kind of, you know, uh, rewards you get from. So how long have you been using this? Is this just recently?
Well, I've been working on it over time. So the what you're seeing here is a much doctored version of what I started out with.
And that's another thing.
But
People start
mhm.
out with something, and
Yeah,
then 2 weeks later end up with something totally different.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's because you're sending out stuff. Sometimes you'll see, you know what? No, this email didn't hit the way I wanted it to hit. Let me change it. So don't expect this to be the say all. You did it once, it works.
Hmm.
Be ready to kind of, play around with it, add here, add there. As you see these emails, whatever starts to resonate, whatever starts to work, obviously you want to, pounce on it. And
Hmm.
so I
Yeah.
definitely like this. So this is basically an intro, right? Now
Hmm.
you used, what did you use to do the editing? Was that like in Canva? This looks familiar.
No, I used a tool that's called Create Studio to create that particular video. It
Nice.
gives the ability like to do the writing on the screen and to put the phone frame around the picture and so forth.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
that's
Framing it in a phone looks really good. I've also seen framing it as like if it was a picture, a gold frame,
hmm.
one of those old classic kind of
Yeah.
engraved frames. But the fact that you frame it looks good. The fact that it's hosted on YouTube, people should have the confidence to click and know that they're not clicking anything nasty. And so, I just think that this is huge, right? When it comes
Hmm.
to your guys' prospecting. But like what you said, when you come home, you don't want all this administrative work to do and to enter. So building this out with that thought in mind, even when it comes to networking with people, it's like an immediate connection, right? You already have your
Hmm.
how you're going to connect with them. You've got multiple ways. So I really, really like it. So you jump from this and you go into are you on LinkedIn? Once again, I like it. Here, I suggest everybody to put in their own smart tags just in case they've, they've switched it up or anything like that. So I removed your smart tags. I also removed, I edited, I just left it at linkedin.com. So everybody please go into these, look at them really well so that you can enter your own information and then
now
read.
there's not
Obviously.
no opportunity for all of their contacts to connect with me. What's going on there, Jeremy?
Right. No,
I
I
thought
mean,
we had a deal.
well, we just gotta,
We got
concrete
to
that
work it
deal.
out. I
We
get
gotta,
it. I get it. Yeah. No,
once you
that's
just
good.
handle everything else, we be good.
Yeah.
Everything will just stay connected and you won't have those issues. um, so this one is a simple, so these ones I sometimes think text messaging would do really well just because it's a smaller, but that can be simply added just to get some extra value because everybody's on their phone nowadays. What I like about the email is the email you're allowed to put it, your signatures there. They can validate that you did an email and a text message, and then the email always stays there as a form of for record. Like that's how I do it. I use emails, create folders, dump the email in there, and so if I ever think that I might need something, I just know how quickly to find it. So for me, email is huge as well, but no, this does. And so connecting LinkedIn, is LinkedIn big for you guys? Do you guys see a lot of stuff come from LinkedIn and that kind of stuff? Or is it just the social media of choice that you guys use?
It's the one that I've gotten the most out of. I'm on several of them, but it's definitely the one that I've gotten the most out of from a business perspective and the best connections. But you could plug whatever your favorite social media is in there, and that's basically what I'm going to be teaching the people that I help with these things. Is just like, hey, if you're a Facebook fanatic, maybe you don't do social media at all. It's like you can delete this one and carry on. So that's my particular take on it.
Plus, this would also help you drive traffic to these places, right? Which is also important too, so that you can start to build the community. As more people organically go to it, it also gets pushed out there into the webs through the algorithm as well. So that's also helpful to get this to appear up in other people's feeds. But essentially, utilizing this so that it's not you physically doing it is where you guys save time, essentially. So this is the third, fourth speaking skills. Let me just open this one. Registration link, you can do all that. And so definitely I want people to review this. Obviously, if you don't have a registration link, well then, you want to maybe doctor this up for yourself. But the underlying purpose for it, yes, Keith.
Now, the brilliance of what Rick has created here is that from really anything that you do, but especially within the Legal Shield community, the initial introduction that he does, the immediate response, so that, I mean, before you even leave the event, this person's already got something sitting there waiting for them. But what's exciting about this is that each one of these steps that Rick is bringing out that references things that he does, imagine using this to highlight specifics of your Legal Shield business. We do things for your employees. We do things for specifically for your business. And each email is bringing forth, it's like a bubbling up effect of events. So now that you get to email number 5, which I'll shut up now, but that's the idea, is that this is bubbling and tickling your prospect.
In a good way. In a
Yeah.
good way. And it's not it's like
tickle
how
is good. Tickling. Hello. Yes, tickle.
I'll take a tickle from my wife any day of the week.
Hello. Hello.
So what I like about it is, oh well, I just lost my train of thought. Thank you, Rick, for the tickle part.
You get enough tickles there, baby. You get
Well, we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. But okay, so let's get into the fifth. Now here, this is now this one talks a little bit about virtual selling, which is all good for me. But definitely everybody read through it just to see if it connects with you in the correct way. If you have to doctor it up, well, this is for you to do so. So these are all just templates for everybody to use. So let's actually throw this into an action plan. If people thought that it was that difficult, I will just try to put this together in a clean way in which let's add it.
And Jeremy, did you see the one that I had all of that dropped into?
Say that again.
The action plan that I had everything dropped into. I wasn't sure if you saw that or not.
I didn't have a chance.
Okay.
So when I got the email and I figured, you know what, let's get this in and we can share it with people and kind of get it ASAP. So yes, it would have been good to see how you organized it. However, I was just going to quickly throw something together and then show the people how easy it is just to grab from templates. So that's what I say is I say create a folder in your templates. If it's an action plan specific, perfect, right? That way you can find it and then you can go ahead and add activities relatively easy. But essentially that's it. The people say that I go too quick. So let's back up. Now, adding a plan, giving it a name, there is some configurations, right? So this one is a send a notification. This send notification email on completion. If you wanted to have some type of confirmation, that's what that would be for. If you are using text messaging, and if you set it up in which it is you doing such as like outreach, you don't want them to reply to the text message, and then you don't want them to continue to get the other ones that are like maybe assuming that they haven't connected with you. So with this button here checked, this pause on response, if it's checked, if you have a text message and they reply to it, it will stop the action plan. That allows you to kind of come in. It makes the whole follow-up seem like organic. So there's that. Also, if this is going to be an action plan that's going to be repeated and repeated, you can hide it from the timeline so that you're not just seeing all of this stuff every once in a while. So keep that in mind. So I didn't use any of that for this test purpose. I hit save. And now we have my nice to meet you. And now we can begin to start pulling in either a task and appointments, emails, smart messages, and we can also change property and change lead property as well. So, but let's focus on pulling the email. So let's grab it from a template by selecting pick a template. Let's go to the library and let's go to networking and find the first one. Now here she is, got everything imported. The only thing I would do here is obviously put in my smart tags. So let's go find first name. There we go. Delete the space. I guess now, since this is going to be the first one, this is when it's going to get triggered. So we'll just leave it as send now and hit save. So now we've got the first leg. Now it's basically rinse and repeat. So once you do the whole getting them in templates, putting them in order is really, it's easy if you kind of organize everything and everything is easy to find. So with this 2 out of 5 definitely will help you kind of get everything You want to do your smart tags. There we go. And this one's got my signature, so I didn't remove that one because that one's I don't see a lot of people changing those ones. So now did you think, how did you set up the follow-up between these? Are you since there's 5, are you stretching this out over a week so that you're felt over the week, or is it all just
I actually did 4 days later on the first one. I did let's see, what was it? No, I think it was 3, if I remember right, 3 days, 7 days, 16 days, and 23 days, I think it was. So I
you
stretched it.
really, yeah, it's like one a week kind of,
Right. Yeah.
to get as
Not
much,
flooding
not
their
flooding,
inbox, but not letting them forget.
just little half tickles.
Right. And it's the kind of
Okay.
thing where, if you like to do it a little quicker, you can adjust. If you want to lengthen it out, you can do that. If you want to stick other messages between, you can. The whole idea was, let's just get this group of people that I'm working with up and running quickly with something concrete that they can definitely use. So if you go out and you meet somebody, you can say, here's my electronic card, and
First step, get them to sign up, kind of here, quick and easy. Do it on your phone. Now I've got your information, and now this is going to just slowly start to trickle on them. The only thing, and I'm going to save it for the last, but let's go ahead and get the rest. The only thing that I'm going to suggest, once we create everything, so this one is the discover call, and we can set it up. I would say we did 5 from the first one, so we can do 10 from the next one, just to kind of give it some space in between. And then we can go grab the the 4th one. Let me see. Pick it from the template, find our library, networking. Same with this one. But we will do 15 days. And the last one, we can do networking where you at. 5 of 5. And we can set this up for 20 days.
Okay. Now, one thing I noticed there, Jeremy, is the default is number of days after the last activity. You have to go down into the advanced settings if you want those to be set based on the trigger date, which is what I did in my personal case. So I just, because in this case, that's not going to come out. So you're looking at almost a month or over a month after the initial trigger, because you're doing it after last activity. So that's one thing that people need to be aware of when they're setting this up. When you're setting up a series, it's going to default to send this many days after the last thing you did. In my case, I just went ahead and said, no, I want a little finer control over this. So I said this many days after the initial trigger. So that's where I came up with the, the 3 days, the 7 days, the whatever days I put in there. I'd have to go look at it again to remember. But so, yeah, I mean, you could literally just say, hey, 5 days after the last thing I did every single time, and just every 5 days they're getting something.
And if you customize
4 days.
And if you customize it, if let's say it's not automate, let's say you don't start off with automating anything, but it at least just gets the notes in there, or it gets the contact in there, then Once that happens, you go in, review, maybe add some talking, some notes, add some more information. Then after speaking to them, you're like, okay, this is the communication I want to send to them. You could then do the custom, and then you could pick your days. George doesn't like to set up stuff because when you set this up, this is rigid. Sometimes if you look at your calendar from when you started, it may land a day on the weekend. It may put an email on a specific day that you don't like sending out emails. So keep in mind, you can always customize it, and then you can actually pick those days, which might not even have to do with any of the order that you have it in the action plan, but by just setting up these days in between, right, it gives you the capability to go ahead and customize it on that end. So good point. But yes, you do want to pay attention close. And you are right. If you wanted to do what you were doing, you could just set it up 5 days after the last activity. So the way that I did it, it put 15 days after, and it just started exponentially kind of getting longer and longer, which dragged it out. I did see that. However, just to show the example, essentially this is what you would be doing: pulling from your templates, make sure any of the edits were done. Now remember, if you change a template, is it going to change something in the action plan? The answer is
negative.
That's negative. So if something does happen, go change your template. Then all you got to do is come back to this action plan, go to the template, and just dump it in there again. That would be then obviously keeping things up to date and making sure that all the changes is, but nothing is automatic. Just wanted to point that out. So thank you for adding that. But now I want to say the icing on the cake is if I would add a task or appointment at the end of this. So if the person had let's say this was done for 30 days, if the person within 30 days reaches out to you, you can basically go into here and either delete the appointment, or you can even edit it and change it now for something that's specific to this person. And if nothing goes on, this is your follow-up. So this is how George is using it, right? He'll go through the communication, and then he has one of these set up. It's an all-day reminder, and it will show up in his tasks. And as he goes through his daily tasks, he now has this to where it draws his attention to do the follow-up. So what he does is he goes through the task, pulls up the content, starts to look at the emails, starts to look at what he sent. Did it get delivered, right? Then he starts to call them again and do the follow-up and see how that goes. If he doesn't do anything with that, or if nothing is achieved, he edits that same task to give him another couple of days to then follow up with the individual. So he created a system with this action plan per se, and added that appointment, which then now saves him saving the time to have to send all these emails, to literally think, did I send that person this email? No longer do you have to do that. And then having an appointment set up in your calendar so that you can do the follow-up days after you attempted to reach out to him. So if what you guys are trying to do is to drive in the business, this is 100% a tool that will do exactly that. And for the people that may say to themselves, this is not me, I don't do like Rick does, just get the gist of it, of how he's built the communication, right? And just build one for yourself is what I would say. That's essentially what I see in it is that. And so with the description, you could just basically do follow up with client. You can do an all-day reminder. So now this is just going to show up, and then we can do it after this activity. Oops. And save. So now Where did that appointment show up? Here she is. So with this done, you have to see some time coming back to you, because for if you were to utilize this, not only do you not have to think about adding any of the contacts information, just creating the connection, their contacts get into the system, the action plan begins to start get out to them. If they feel that they need to then speak to you, they will. That gets the conversation going. You don't have to follow up with and have the appointment, but you still can and use that for maybe something else. If they say to you, yeah, I love the program. Right now, we're just going through so much with the company. Can you call me in July? Right. So now you can take that same task, move it to July, have it in your calendar. When that time comes about, it's all about staying on top of this information. And I would have to say, people, if they were to, business owners, to see that they just met somebody and they immediately got an email from that person, if over a month's worth of time that person is steadily sending them information, that's going to give me some understanding, like you're there, willing to help me with any of my little problems. And so that's another good feeling, right? And I think it's about like just doing your best to give a really, really good impression. And all of this plays into that, right? Is leaving the good impression, and then selling the person all your products are just going to be no-brainers, right? In the sense of the person trusting you and knowing that if it's a good product and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I really like this. And I definitely think it can be utilized, well, whoever does these kinds of things, but it also can be, broken up into their own tone and to their own, job, what they want to do. But this is beautiful. Does anybody have any questions maybe on like what we've discussed in regards to this? You can keep it vague. You don't have to be too specific. Does anybody see themselves utilizing an action plan like this, or have the need for an action plan like this?
I think it's a great tool for just all the reasons that Rick has talked about and you've embellished on, Jeremy. Similar to Rick, I meet a lot of people in the chamber and other events that I'm at. Certainly getting this streamlined so, as he said, it doesn't turn into another level of tasks when you get back home.
Right.
A, have the time to do it, B, have the discipline to do it, and then do it, and not let it slide for 2 days, and then you're in the middle of whatever's going on then, and it never happens. So yeah.
And then you lose that first attempt to make a good impression on somebody. And those impressions, you know what I'm saying? People remember those kinds of things when they catch you in the grocery store and you're like, oh, I spoke to this guy. Yeah, but he never got back to me. Right? It's all that subliminal stuff, opposed to, yeah, I met him. Yeah, I've gotten emails from this guy. He's consistent, They'll probably even try to hide from you. But that's you're at least doing your job in making that lasting impression, and then keeping these people, because so in sales, it's a numbers game. Once you build things like this, such as having a CRM, having let's say sales flow kind of thought out, and having all of that designed and installed into your CRM, now it's just get numbers, find people, just push them into this, and then let the action plans pretty much dig up what they might need, let the questions come, and then try to find out how you can kind of connect products with them. If not, just have a good relationship with somebody, because you never know what business could come from later, and what other opportunity you just met with somebody else that maybe doesn't do Legal Shield but does something else, but because you have the contact, because you have notes, and because you know what I mean, you can stay on top of these things, and it might create something else for you, instead of having a book of names. Sometimes people write like doctors, so sometimes it's hard to read your own notes. All kinds of stuff can happen. So
Right. Hold up your box of there you go. his box of business cards. How
Oh,
many of you
no,
got
no.
a box or a drawer full of business cards? This
Okay,
And
eliminates
that's
that.
one box of many boxes.
Frank,
Mhm.
what was the guy? Macaulay, I think. He's got just
Mulcahy.
stacked. Mulcahy, he's got like, if it was like $100 bills wrapped up in
Mhm.
rubber bands, and he's just got bands and bands and bands. Like he says that he's got like 6 to 7 years of cards he hasn't entered.
Mhm.
So you hire a high school kid that's off on summer vacation who's competent and willing to do this, usually for a lot of money. And you sit them down with that box and give them a link to your Sparky and get
Right.
those cards loaded in, but create Rick's system on a, hey, it's been a minute. 18.
Quote, quote.
It's been a minute since we last met. I wanted to re-sparky our relationship. Let's get talking again, because how are things? Some of these people are out of business, right? Some of these people are dead. Some of these
We don't-
people have vanished into the universe.
Yep.
And some of these people will call you back. It's a numbers game.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes. When you
Yeah.
have a system built, now it's just throw people into the meat grinder and then just sit on the other end and just put your hands out and wait for the ground beef to come out and make burgers. But
Mhm.
that's a lot easier than, staring at 25 contacts, wishing the best to come out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and you're
so,
teaching some kid a business skill. Because
yeah,
if the kid is a
that's true.
business-oriented kid, you can sit there and say, this is how this works. And just think of it this way: if you help me with these follow-ups and I teach you this system, I'll give you, $50 for every person who does business with me. But also what you just do is create yourself an associate for later on. So when they turn 18, they already have a success system to be part of your downline.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just
Now for
saying.
Frank,
Mhm.
he had to whisper sweet nothings into his wife's ear. So I know she's helping him with that. But getting somebody to help you with that, yes, that's the next step. But then again, even if it was yourself taking photos and just texting them over to Sparky, even that makes a hard job that much more easy.
I'm
But
sorry, I got 18 episodes of CSI I have to watch first. I don't have time to do business.
no, you can do CSI and like taking photos and sending emails. Super easy.
Well,
You could be
obviously, you
doing.
don't know CSI. I can't take my eyes off of that.
Neither can my wife. I don't know what the problem is. We'll have to pay attention to that now. But all right. Well, that's good. I definitely like the way that you guys are getting creative with the system, because not only are these just things the system has, a lot of people haven't tapped into. I brought it up a little bit, didn't get too much treadway, but I like the way that Rick saw the initiative to it. And then so for all the other associates that feel to themselves like,
Yay.
this is difficult or anything like that. Yeah, maybe a little, to understand the whole kind of flow of it. But once you wrap your noodle around it and you get it done, I think you guys will benefit so much from being able to like focus on life at the same time, have a business, know that it's working. And that's what something, a real estate agent in which I've been helping with her action plans and doing this kind of stuff for her. She was in Thanksgiving, it was the holidays, it was the New Year's, and she was able to have all the fun with her family. She said she didn't miss out on any event. She was at all the soccer games, she was at all the events, and she knew her contacts were being taken care of. She knew that there was a system managing all of this. And so if that was able to bring peace to her life and she would express that to me, I'm almost positive it's going to have the same effect on you guys, if not more, right? So um thank you, Rick, for doing that and sharing it with the people. And for everybody else, if you have a good idea or if you have maybe just an idea, feel free to take it to me. That way we can ferment it into something in which, because you never know, you could be onto something, right? And so I definitely thank everybody. Does anybody have any questions? Has anybody had any experiences with the CRM that they would like to share? All righty.
I've dominated the conversation today, but I will ask one thing that I ran into is I started to run the spell check.
Okay.
And I got this blank square on the screen. And of course, the particular message I was working on, I hadn't hit the save button.
Okay.
So it
This
just
button.
kind of, yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
So
And I went to spell check and it just brought up this window that covered the screen and pretty much didn't let me do much of anything else. I was able to recover, but it took a little bit of doing. Yep, that's the one.
this beautiful screen.
Yeah, and it won't go away.
So what about this program that the developers decide to use? So this is a third-party product.
Mm-hmm.
They essentially purchased it and just basically put it within the website. So it's not something that they physically built homebrewed or
Right.
anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been things such as buttons that I've tried to kind of play around with to kind of get the idea of how they use it and what's the best way to use it. But yeah, so spell check was one that I didn't really like, and I didn't get that white screen. It just never really was not something I wasn't familiar with, and knowing that it was a third party, I was like, you know what, get Grammarly installed, and I've been using
Mm-hmm.
that, even though Grammarly does do those little weird things every once in a while.
It
That's what I
does.
use.
And the reason I was going to try and use that was simply because in the window that I was in at the time, for whatever reason, there were words I knew were spelled wrong and it didn't point them out. So it wasn't working inside that specific window. And I've noticed that about both Grammarly and the Microsoft product, that there are some scenarios where, for whatever reason, they can't see into the specific window, and so they can't do the spell check. You know,
Right.
interestingly, when I went to plug, that was when I was doing the templates. As soon as I went in and pulled the templates into the action plan, there it's like, oh, this is spelled wrong. So I was able to do my corrections there, but some places it works and some it doesn't. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'll definitely run that up the flagpole to see if there's anything, especially that white screen. I don't like it.
Yeah, the white screen and then not being able to escape
Getting out
or
of
hit
it.
the
Yeah.
X or hit cancel, and it wouldn't do any of that. So I did find I was able to activate the window behind it, copy the information that was in that window, and then just started again fresh and pasted the content in. So I was able to recover. So
Beautiful. Well, I definitely thank everybody for showing up today. I'm glad everybody possibly maybe have learned something. If you have any questions, how to make this work for you, you're welcome to reach out to me to discuss maybe, how it can work for you, or if you have ideas for yourself that are separate from this, but the concept is still the same, right?
mhm.
So that's what's good, is that the concept is something that can be repeated for everybody on everybody's level. And so, well, and then again, there's also Rick's also, and Keith have also let it be known that they also help people with this as well. So you guys ever want to reach out to Rick or participate in their elements of virtual selling, I bet you there's a lot of learning that can go on in that place, So, well, everybody, I definitely thank you for showing up to this, and we'll be speaking. Oh, there's one thing before I let you guys know, something that Jackie brought up in regards to the new UI. So the new UI is coming out. It looks like by the end of the month, if not first week of May, we should see that. Now, she'd express, hey, are we going to do any type of learning sessions or anything like that, just to, not hit everybody with the sack of bricks come the day that it comes out and then not know how to move around on it. So this is what the developers had told me. There will be a button in which you can go back and forth. So if you want to stay in the old version, feel free to do so. It's going to last, I'm not sure how many months they've put it, but they're going to support it for a while until we then kind of let it go. So what I plan is to do our webinars and everything like that based on the new version. And then that way everybody can keep what you have in the old version. In fact, it's going to be the same thing. So if you go from one to the other, you'll be able to go back and forth if you want, just to kind of slowly ease into it. But I'm going to try to do as many webinars as we can just on that platform, just walking you guys through a little bit of the new UI and that kind of stuff. I'm still playing around with it. So I'm still trying to get a feel of how to flow with it and possibly reproduce the same things we were doing over here to now with the new UI. But what's important is we should at least no shock value, right? Nobody's going to get just told tough cookie, new version.
Shock and awe.
Yeah, so there will be a little bit of time for everybody to do their best to, you know, learn the new things. And there's a lot of cool little features that are coming up. Like you can right click on the contact, and by doing that, it's kind of like looking at the quick view, but it's in the little right click button. So there's maybe some things that you know might drive you guys now crazy than before, but just once we get it out, play with it as much as you can. Any feedback, I'm gonna love to hear it, because then we can kind of spend the first month or so kind of tweaking it, kind of getting it just right. And so I thank you everybody, but I just wanted to let you know that. So
Great.
all right.
Thanks.
All
And we
right.
will get notice when that's happening. That was my other question is,
when
instead of like, oh, it happened last night, it's like it's going to happen in 2 days. I mean, that's yeah.
No, so since the the developers have yet to kind of given me a firm date, something that's concrete. So what I hear them
They're
planning
developers. They're developers, Jeremy. You don't get concrete with developers.
you try to tie them down as much as you can, but
in New Jersey you can get concrete with developers. Right. No, you don't get that.
And so they keep on saying end of April. We are, you know, a couple of days from the end of April. I'm not saying that it's not there, but we're getting close. So for that, I will try to keep my ear to the grindstone, and if I hear something concrete, I will try to alert you guys as much as possible to the changes that are going on. But yes,
great.
Yeah, so anticipate within, I don't know, by mid-May we should have it already rolled out. But the good thing is you'll be able to toggle. So if you, you know, I would just say put it on the other version for a little bit, kind of poke around, see what you don't know or what is a question mark to you, and maybe save it for these webinars so we can all kind of discuss it, because I'm pretty sure everybody's going to have the same questions. All righty. Well, thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure speaking to you guys.
Good. Thanks, Rick.
See ya.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye now.